Welcome everyone to Faster Than Light, a roguelike released in 2012. I really like this game. It's a lot of fun, and I've gotten back into it recently, and I would like to perhaps introduce a few new people to a fun, more hidden gem. So to start off, we're going to click New Game, and we're going to look at our ships. Now, if you're starting out this game for the first time, you're only going to have the Kestrel available to you. It's an all-around average ship, generally allowing you to figure out most of the basic mechanics. There are little challenges over here that'll unlock different layouts and the like. Now, I'm not good at this game. I know a little bit about it, but I certainly know Savant, like some other videos you'll find. However, I think I can provide a little bit of information for new players. So I suppose we'll stick to the basic names and we'll load it up for the first time. Now, I'm going to choose easy difficulty because this game is, it's hard. It's really hard. And I don't think sitting here on hard difficulty would be that entertaining for someone of my skill level. So, that being said, let's start. The data you carry is vital to the remaining Federation fleet. You'll need supplies for the journey, so make sure to explore each section before moving on to the next, but get to the exit before the pursuing Rebel fleet can catch up. So, has a bit of a story to it. It's not revolutionary, to say the least, but it's something. Now, just to explain it for the people who don't quite know anything about the game, I'll explain generally what's going on, so when things get a little more hectic, you'll be able to follow along. So up here is your scrap. It's your currency in this universe. You can use it to buy things at shops, upgrade your ship, and the like. It's almost similar to Souls, if anyone's played a Soulsborne title. I mean, more like Dark Souls. Either way. Over here is your hull, your HP. You have 30 hit points. You can take 30 damage before the ship will explode and your run will end. Over here is your shields. They'll be able to stop some attacks from hitting you. It'll take a little bit of time to regenerate between each unit damaged, and honestly, it is a very useful resource to pay attention to. Here's your fuel. Each jump will consume 1 unit of fuel. If you run out, you'll be stranded and unable to act for a while. You don't want that. If floating around in space doesn't sound appealing to you, I would recommend watching your fuel. These are ammunition for different types of weapons. I'll get there in a moment. Just know that these are missiles and these are drone parts. Here's the evasion chance. Every time an attack, an incoming attack targets your ship, you'll have a percentage chance of dodging the attack. This is your oxygen levels. If your oxygen levels run too low on your ship, your little guys, your crew members of sorts, will slowly get damaged until they eventually fall. Speaking of crew, we have our 3 crew members, Caldwell, Ferry, and Rebecca. Now, they have a variety of different skills, and they have different benefits depending on where you put them. We'll get to the systems in a bit and explain how crew members are used. You can save and load current positions, which are good for resetting everyone after a long fight or the like. Down here are your weapon systems. You have 3 bars of power, or I have currently 3 bars of power remaining out of a total 8. These can be used to power different systems. Now, the different systems we start out with are shields, which power the little shield meter up here that I mentioned prior. Each unit of shield health requires 2 power, so it's a little harder to upgrade, but one upgrade is incredibly useful. Or should I say, getting an extra unit is incredibly useful. Here are your engines. The more power you have in your engines, the higher dodge chance you get. So if you look up at the dodge chance we have up here, as soon as I put more and more power into the engines, you'll see that it increases by 5%. Here's our med bay. It's right over here. If you put any of our units into the med bay, they'll slowly start to regenerate health. It's useful when they get damaged, as there are a variety of different things that can harm your crew members in this game. Next, your oxygen systems. They continuously refill your ship's oxygen, and should that system break, you'll slowly start to lose it, or if there's a breach in your hull or the like. This is also an incredibly useful system. You should always have this one powered, or for the most part. You can turn it off for a bit to put power to different systems depending on, but a general rule of thumb is to keep this fully, or at least one stick of power. Here are your weapons. This system is where you put all your weapons. Depending on the ship that you're currently using, you'll have a different selection of weapons. So let's put power to them. Now, so I should probably explain a little bit more about weapons. So depending on the type of weapon that you'll have, you'll use different types of ammunition. This burst laser we have right here uses none, but it's not the best weapon that you can get in the game. This Artemis missile will go right through enemy shields and deal damage to the opposing ship, useful for, let's say, targeting their shield systems, allowing your burst lasers to be more effective. However, every use of the Artemis laser uses up 1 missile. No missiles, no Artemis cannon. You have an auto fire button, so if you want to just, let's say, have a burst laser target a specific section, you can do that. There are the bars next to each weapon. They fill up as time goes on. When they hit full, the weapon will turn green and you'll be able to fire it. If the auto fire is on, it'll just continuously fire on that specific place. You have your subsystems, which are just piloting, sensors, which allow you to see what's in your ship, and if you upgrade them, what's in enemy ships, and doors, which allow you to open and close doors as such. You have a quick turn, close and open all doors, and besides that, there really isn't much else to explain. Now we'll go to the crew members and how they interact with these systems. You're always going to want to have a pilot. This allows you to jump, and if you'll notice up here, as soon as I get off, I can no longer travel to new areas. My dodge chance will also go down to 0 as we can no longer move. Now, when starting with the game, you have 2 other crew members that can do anything that you want. Now, generally speaking, I like this setup, though depending on the ship, potentially running shields would be good, since if you have a crew member tending to a specific system, be it engines, weapons, or shields, they'll get a small boost. Weapons will charge faster, you'll get an extra dodge chance, and you'll get more shield regeneration. And now a little thing you can do is you can remove 1 power from your med bay, as it's a system you don't usually use all that much, especially with the current setup we have right now. And you can put it into your engines to grant yourself a 5% bonus, or a 1 in 20 shot chance of being able to avoid an attack. That's about a 1 in 5 now. So 1 out of every 5 shots will dodge, which will be incredibly useful for our survival. Now, there are a couple of other things that we can get into later, but I think it's time we just jump. Now, we can see what's going on around us. This bottom section has been called a nebula. These nebulas are dangerous and annoying to fight in. I recommend avoiding them. These are distress signals. They are people calling out for help, and they can land you in a variety of different situations. Let's go to one. You find the source of the distress call, a small research station. It appears a small laboratory fire got out of control and is threatening to destroy the station. Their fire suppression system is not responding. Now, we can do a few things here. Now, depending on what you choose, you'll have different chances of things happening. Leave is the safest option, as you will have no chance of anything happening. And depending on what the other things are, you can get different rewards, be it fuel, scrap, missiles, drone parts, or perhaps even a new crew member. I'm going to choose option 2, as it's early in the game and these risks are not that bad, as we can simply close the game, or close back to the hangar and reopen the game. So as you can see here, we managed to get 14 scrap and 4 damage to our hull. As you can see the flavor text over here. I will do my best to read some, if not all of it, but don't expect me to read it out entirely. So we'll click continue, and we'll notice that our shield systems got damaged. This is a good moment to explain to you how system damage works. Every time a system takes damage, it'll lose the ability to put power into it. As we can no longer put 2 power into our shields, these shields will no longer regenerate, which is an incredibly dangerous situation to be in. We'll take Rebecca, as she's in a good position in the ship, and in a not vital position to be in. And we'll have her go repair the shields. Now, if you notice up here, she'll get a little boost to her repair skill. Every character will get new skills depending on how much they do a certain task. Every time Rebecca, for instance, fires a weapon, she'll get better and better at it. Every time we dodge an attack, Ferry and Caldwell will both get a bonus to their piloting and engineering, respectively. We'll just enter the next area and we'll see if we can get into some combat. Here we go. An advanced Rebel automated ship remains stationed near a small Rebel space station. Sensors indicate it's a storage vessel for military goods. We'll attack the ship and get to the storage cache. And here we'll get into combat. We can press the space button to immediately pause and get a chance to look at what's happening around us. Now, the enemy's weapons and things of that nature will charge up and they'll be able to attack us, same as our own. Now, they have a drone, which is what these drone parts are used for, should you have your own drone system. However, since we don't have that, we can't really make any use of it. Now, these combat drones will slowly deal damage over time. I believe this one is one that'll damage our shields. There are other ones that won't, but this is fairly dangerous, as I'm not quite sure if we'll be able to get out of this unscathed. Now, we'll start off by thinking of the game plan. Now, looking at the weapons we have right here, this will shoot 3 shots, and that's fairly good. We'll be able to get through the shields. However, if we manage to use one of our missiles, we'll be able to perhaps damage their shield systems first. Let's lay that on and resume playing. Yeah, so you can see here that it's slowly damaging our shields. And, oh, good. You can see that we got hit there. If the enemy attacks a systemless room, we'll just take damage. If they attack a room with a system, that's when the system will take damage. Now, as you can see here, we managed to do 2 damage to the opposing ship, knocking out their shield systems. Now, let's look through and try to figure out what the most dangerous thing is. Now, to me, I would say the drone system, as this weapon right here has no chance of ever damaging our ship as long as we have this one laser. However, the same can't be said for the drone. I'm not entirely certain if it might not be able to sneak in a shot depending on how quickly our shields manage to regenerate. As such, we'll target the drone systems with our burst laser and fire away. Now, the drone no longer works, and we're in a relatively good condition. We'll finish it off with attacking any system of our choice, winning us this fight. You salvage what you can from the broken ship. We gain 17 scrap. And if we investigate the station, we notice that it was either abandoned or stripped clean. It seems to have lain unused for some time. You find nothing useful. That's a tad bit unfortunate. Now, as we go through, I'll sit and I'll explain in a little more detail what's going on for the first little bit, and afterwards we'll perhaps get to a point where a little more casual banter can happen. You spot a small rebel ship nearby. It seems to have been refitted for transport rather than combat. It does not seem to want to engage you and your ship. Now, as we're early in the game, I think it's very necessary to get as much scrap as possible to either upgrade or buy new weapons. As such, we'll demand the surrender of their goods. Now, unlike the other drone, this ship has other people in it. So as you damage systems, they'll slowly repair, making anything that you do not permanent. They are trying to escape. Now you have a bit of a time limit as to when they'll be able to leave. Now they have some pretty dangerous weapons, stuff that I don't really want to deal with, so I think getting those dealt with as soon as possible would be the best. As they have a laser weapon, I think this is a heavy laser. This hurts a lot if it manages to get through your shields. However, should it even deal 1 damage, its laser weapon over here will be able to penetrate and cause havoc amongst our systems, which is not good. I think we might get a hit. Yep. So this attacked our oxygen systems. It's not that bad. I think we'll have, we'll show use for opening the doors. We'll get Fairy out of his position and we'll open up the doors. Now, as you can see, there's a bit of a fire in here. It'll jump to other systems, slowly destroying them. Not a very good thing, to say the least. Now, I'm going to open up the systems. The only downside to doing this, I would say, is that when the doors close, we'll have to risk putting our crew members in danger as we slowly try to repair it. Now, we'll use another Artemis missile to perhaps get rid of their weapon systems this time. Nope. Alright. Well, we're under a time limit, so I'm gonna try to... There we go. So since I attacked their helm, they can no longer flee, and their FTL, or their jumping capabilities are now lower, or can no longer function. As such, now we gained more time to be able to do things. Once these fires go out, in a second, we'll close the doors and we'll try and get the system repaired. So, the rest of this combat will just be me trying to not die or lose. Oh. They're fine. As you can see, the the stripe pattern is gone out of these rooms, meaning that it is now safe for people to inhabit. As such, it should be fine to leave them as is. Now, I'm going to preemptively put the burst laser on just to make sure that they will have a harder time fleeing. Oh, this means that they're just about to jump. Oh, but we managed to destroy it anyway. It's fine. The ship's cargo was not salvageable, unfortunately. However, they seem to have been surveying the region. They possess detailed maps and data. You download what you can to the ship's maps. If you continue, first and most importantly, we should try to get our crew members healed up. Now, they are at a point where, should a system be attacked, they could very easily die, and that is not a good thing. You want crew members, they're very important. As even with just a extra 5% for having, ferry, I believe? Yeah, on our engines, it greatly improves our chances of being able to survive. And Rebecca giving us a weapons boost is incredibly useful as well. Now here we can see that there are different ships, possibly more combats. Now, it is incredibly important to try to get as much scrap and fight and explore as much as possible early on in the game, or just in general, to make sure that you can purchase as many strong weapons and upgrade your systems as much as you can. We'll head on to the next area now. This ship is also on charge. Oh, okay. So here is another system, a hacking system. This will expend one drone part to shut down a system temporarily. As you can see, we have no longer any chance to dodge, and we can no longer escape. Now, as much as the weapons are dangerous, I don't think we're getting out of this, and I think it's more important to try and stop them from being able to run away. Oh, that is dangerous. Don't. So, because this system is being locked onto, we can't exactly go fix our oxygen systems or interact with this system as well. So now that we've managed to get that taken care of, we'll try to deal with this hacking system before our oxygen levels deplete and lead to a situation where we can no longer win. Or should I say everyone dies? I think they mean pretty much the same thing at this point. Last few bullets lead to the end of them. Now, under normal circumstances, I would try to have Rebecca go and try to fix up as much as possible. As you can notice, or as I mentioned before, this skill increases, as it'll be quite important to have someone who can leave their station without dramatically reducing survivability. So we'll just go through a couple more areas, the store, and I think then we'll call it the end of today. Soon after arriving in the system, you are hailed by a small cruiser. What good fortune that we happen to run into each other. Nothing personal, but you have some information we need. Some pirates, perhaps, instructed by the rebel fleet to retrieve this information for a hefty bounty. Now, they have a bomb, which is just... So we've dealt enough damage to them, and they're attempting to surrender. Now, from what I've found, destroying enemy ships will give more scrap, but less other stuff. And as we're pretty fine on fuel, and we do not need drone parts, I believe we can probably take them, I think we will not accept the offer and attempt to destroy what they have left. Now, hoping that their shield systems do not get repaired by the time the burst laser finishes to recharge, we're going to try, there we go, finish off the ship. Yeah, as you noticed, we got missiles, drone parts, and more scrap, but less so of the other materials. So something I didn't mention before, but if you hover over any other area, you'll be able to tell where you want to try to go. Now, it's very important to make sure that this section over here does not catch up to you. Now, generally eyeballing it, I can say I can safely make it here, 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 and then finally end with the exit, getting as much scrap and resources as possible. You discover one of the rebels' autonomous scouts. The ship's AI wastes no time engaging your ship. Another drone and a weapon system. This is relatively fine. I'm not quite sure what that weapon is. It might be a single burst shot or a double. Now, I'm gonna say, because I'm not certain, that'll be the target for now, unless it fires. Oh, well, slightly too late, but oh, okay, well that missed, so I guess we'll just try to take care of that anyway. Yeah, look, not the smartest decision, I'll be frank. I'm gonna have Fairy just quickly finish repairing that before trying to put out the fires. Thankfully, they didn't destroy our oxygen systems like they did last time, meaning that it'll be a lot easier to take care of the fixing up, or we don't have any damages to fix anymore, but should there have been damages in the system, it would be a lot easier to be able to deal with. At this point, we pretty much won, as their weapons and drone systems cannot be repaired, and they had no other means of attacking. We got some useful materials as we go on to the next area. Something I didn't do last time was try to recover the HP on Fairy. Now, on to the next encounter. An especially well-armed pirate ship approaches you.
Hand over one of your crewmates, and the rest of you can go free unharmed.
We have two options. One, to draw straws and send a crew member over to the slavers. The other, to never surrender and attack. Now, you can generally see what they have. You can notice that they have a missile and a beam type weapon. I'd say we can take them, and I don't quite want to lose a precious member over something that I think we could take quite well. Now we'll just have to sit here and wait a moment. Let's hope we dodge. Oh, so it was only our medical bay that got hit. I don't view that as a very important system to try to keep up in the middle of combat, at least with our current setup. So I would view just continuing to attack to be our best option. Now, I'm gonna say we'll Artemis their shields and use our burst laser to take care of the rest, as we have plenty of time to do that, and it'll take care of two birds with one stone. Now, you notice that they are trying to leave. We cannot have that, so we will attempt to remove their ability to pilot the ships. Here. So, they are attempting to surrender. Now, some types of ships, for instance, this is a slaver, they offer us new crew members, and I think that is a fine trade to have. Welcome, Nickme. We'll place it, probably in it, on the shield systems. Now, this is where I think I should get into the abilities of different types of crew members. I'll explain them more as we see them. Humans, just as in everything else, are boring and uninteresting, only having slightly lower requirements to upgrade their skills. Nickme has less health, will explode into a puff of toxic smoke that'll damage crew on death. However, those might seem to be fairly bad to all right at best. This Zoltan provides power to the area that it's in. This is incredibly important and incredibly useful, as now we have an extra, bar of power, meaning that if we so choose we can start to upgrade our other systems. However, I think we should head off to the store first and see if we cannot grab anything just as interesting. The space station here has a traveling merchant who shows you his wares. Now, here is where we will get into what you can buy at shops. Now you can fix up your hull, which we will do so. I'll say get up to 25. This costs more the later you get onto the game, and as of right now, it was not too expensive, but we're not that badly hurt. You can buy more fuel, missiles, and drone parts. I'm not going to do so as I have no need for them. Now you have multiple different types of systems, depending on what you might want. Augmentations, which are small improvements you can add to your ship. Think of them as little charms or trinkets that give you small little bonuses. On the second page, we have weapons and drones. As of right now, I don't quite think I need or want a drone system. Cloaking is too expensive, as fun as it might be. Mind control is not something that I think my ship is well equipped for. I don't quite like any of these weapons, and as much as a combat drone would be fun, I don't quite want to spend... Oh, actually, I don't think I can. Yeah, no, I don't have enough money for that either. So at this point, I don't really think there's all that much to buy. So we'll get into upgrading our ship. Now, we'll look at the menu. This is where we have our systems, our main systems, the one down here. Our reactor, which will grant us more power, and our subsystems, which I mentioned earlier, being the piloting, sensors, and doors. Now, as of right now, what I would recommend, at least, is with our current setup, if you are playing along and have weapons that you might want to use, upgrade weapon systems. However, based off of what we have, I would recommend getting a second level of shield. It's quite expensive, but it is incredibly valuable, and I would say it is one of the most important things to get early on if you don't have a particular playstyle you're attempting to do, as 2 shield bubbles will most likely stop you from taking any considerable damage for the next few sectors. Now, we'll sit here and repair the system, as I unfortunately forgot to do on our prior jump, boosting Rebecca's skills, and we will go heal Fairy over here, put everyone back to where they were, and head on to the next area. I think we could probably head here, and here before heading on our way out. I think we'll take that risk. You detect a rebel scout on an attack. Approach to a small refueling outpost, so their weapons are charged, but they're not firing yet. We will intervene and defend. This is the same dangerous setup we saw before, but because we have an extra bubble, they are unable to harm us. Now, here's where we'll get into a bit of an exploit. Should you choose so, you can sit here and let the enemy attack you. Now, you have a shield skill that will slowly develop as they attack, and as they can no longer really damage us, it might be worthwhile for you to choose to do so. I'm not, because I don't particularly feel like sitting here for upwards to about 10 minutes to deal with this. As such, we will simply just attack. Now, I targeted the shield system first, as the weapons aren't quite so dangerous. So, if we get rid of the shield, we'll be able to deal more damage to our burst laser on other systems. I attacked the hull of the ship to reduce their dodge chance, which I believe would be very important. However, they managed to repair it before we had a chance to do all that much. I think at this point we can just deal the killing blow, or perhaps not. That was a successful attack if I've ever seen one. Damn. Well, at the very least, we are getting more levels onto our different skills. Wow, we are dodging a lot. Quite lucky. There we go. We have finished attacking the rebel, or sorry, I think it was rebel ship, getting us 3 fuel, 1 missile, and 23 scrap. Now, as we intervened to defend an outpost, we get some extra rewards that might allow us to buy something useful in the store. So I don't particularly want any of these systems. There are some interesting weapons, but these are very expensive, and I don't quite view them as being that important. However, we have some more crew members. I am going to get a mantis. These species are very good at offense. Due to this, they are great for ships that rely on boarding, or good in our case, for defense against that tactic. We also have a rockman, which, as you can see up here, are more defensive and immune to fire. However, they don't quite have the raw damage potential of the mantis, and as such, I might want to get, or should I say, I view them as being a little more versatile than the other crew members we can get. None of them have any skills, so we will purchase Fred. I'm gonna try to pronounce that. And we will stick him right in. Oh, perhaps we can put him in one of these systems and augment them. As you can see down here, we have a little bit of an extra power bar on top, increasing their level by 1. We'll hit the exit. And here, long range beacon when the FTL drive charges. We'll jump to the next sector. Here. There's a privately owned construction platform in the area that has a slot open for immediate work. We can inquire about their speciality. They're willing to upgrade our oxygen systems in exchange for some scrap. I don't usually upgrade my other non-useful systems. However, an idea or a strategy you could use would be to upgrade things like your oxygen or your shields 1 level above what you need them at, even if you cannot power them. And not only will that give you an opportunity to be able to power them higher in scenarios where they'd be useful, but should they get attacked, a single damage won't put the oxygen systems out of commission anymore. I think that is a worthwhile trade. I believe it's 30 otherwise, but whatever it might be, I think it is a fairly good deal. I think that'll be it for today. I thank all of you who decided to come watch. Farewell, and